Rahsjon Duncan, obviously under the tutelage of Marcus Peters. This is somebody that the first thing that jumps out on tape, I'm pretty sure this clip, if it's not coming up right now, it's about to, lays absolute hat.
6'3", he's 190, 195 now. Don't let this kid get to 205. He will be an absolute killer, just patrolling the secondary. The only knock that he has is he hits people so hard that I think refs almost are going to feel like they have to call it targeting. And I'm not kidding.
JD Hill, gentlemen.
Sorry, this is my guy.
Go for it. Go off. I love it.
Myself and fellow Discord member Saint Dog were watching a Mission Viejo game.
You were watching Jeron Jones, right?
We were watching Jeron Jones, and we're like, who is this guy? Like, what's going on with their defensive line? Who's this number 5?
Just a game wrecker.
Welcome back to the Dub podcast, you guys. A little bit of a technical difficulty. We recorded this. This is now our third attempt at this. We tried to switch back to the Twitch style of what we were doing in the past. And unfortunately, because of a bitrate change, none of it was tenable. We had to get rid of it all. So this is quite literally our third attempt at both. We'll be releasing the Oregon podcast the following day. So that will be Thursday. And we'll preview Boise State as well. So for you Oregon haters who are in the comments who are like, you guys ran away again after you lost, we'll answer for our sins for that game. But while we're here, we want to break down this Husky football 2026 class. Matt, what does at a high level this class look like, just for some of the people who may not be quite as insanely nerdy as we are, for where this class ranks and all that good stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Well, number one, we were the number 12 recruiting class in the country, which is huge. It's the highest rated recruiting class in the modern recruiting era. So as far back as Scout, 247, Rivals, etc., On3, Go, this is the best class. The highest that Chris Peterson ever brought in was the 15th ranked overall class. Just kind of a little quick breakdown on where the players came from. Number 1 player in Washington, number 1 player in California, or number 2, depending on what you're looking at, right? Number 1 player in Oklahoma, number 2 player in Nevada, the number 5 player in Colorado, who's criminally underrated, right? Number 9 player in Louisiana, number 4 player in Hawaii, 4 total players ranked in the top 20 in California, 5 in the top 40, 6 in the top 70, 2 of the top 5 players in Oregon, 4 of the top 10 players in Washington, and not only that, but looking at that targeted national recruiting approach, you landed players from 11 different states. And of course, we landed a top 5 class in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, when your class is ranking in front of LSU, and in front of Florida State, in front of Florida, in front of Clemson, these are perennial top tier schools that you are ranking in front of, and that doesn't hurt.
I wanted to say that I love about this class is Jed's mentioned back-to-back weeks in his weekly pressers. 19, maybe 20 of these 25 kids will be early enrollees in January, ready to go, ready to get into not only the weight room, the nutrition programs, etc. They'll be here for spring ball. So Jed is very much known for playing freshmen. It's a perfect opportunity to be ready to go come August and September when you get here early. So
I know that.
Hats off to that. Hats off to the staff for that.
Let's get into it, boys. We're going to talk about each of these players, and it would be poor form for us to not kick things off with probably certainly the most well-known player in this class, but kind of the anchor and the leader, even from a visibility standpoint, in terms of like how he tweets and all these different things. Him and Derek Colman-Brusa, probably the two that you could put up there as kind of like the hometown dogs, if you want to call Kodi that, because he went down to Mater Dei. He's still a hometown Husky from the Seattle area. But what are your guys'
Catholic product?
Yep. So what are your guys' initial thoughts on Kodi Greene?
I mean, for me, I'll be fast. I mean, he really is an elite national tackle prospect. It's hard for me to go look at the other guys and say there's anybody better at the left tackle position than him. He's a day one starter. I mean, long arms, mirrored quickness. I mean, somebody who He plays against elite 5-star type edges in the Trinity League down there in California. I mean, he's ready to go. I always like to watch tape and say, who is the comp that I see? The comp that I see, and people might look at this and go, "Wow, that's lofty. Wow, that's quite the player." But I really see Trent Williams. I mean, that rare just length, athleticism blend is what I see with Kodi, and I think he comes in January 4th ready to rock and roll, and he really walks through that door and is a starting left tackle.
I think the things that I want to add on for Kodi Greene here is one that coming into the season, there was chatter about him coming into his senior season was that he would be the most day one ready tackle for college football, or probably offensive lineman in college football, coming after his senior year. And what you love about Kodi Greene is that he doesn't seem to have this big ego about him. He recognized that. I think the knock, if there was really any, because as we're looking at tapes here, you're going to see that this is unbelievably fluid and athletic at his height and weight. Like in the clips that you guys are seeing right now, he could just body up guys and obliterate people with his size, but he is clean in his technique. And I know Noah can talk about his technique until the days go dark, but what I loved to hear was that he recognized that he needed a lower body weight, and he made a huge transition to put on that weight without losing any of his speed or athleticism. He's just a truly unique prospect at tackle that I don't know if the University of Washington has ever seen an offensive lineman prospect like this since the early 90s in the heyday. So anything else you guys want to add about Kodi?
No, I mean, your Bear Bryants, your Don James, those guys are like rolling over in their graves thinking that you're starting an 18-year-old on your offensive line. But the difference is these guys aren't coming out of Spanaway, random Olympia schools. These guys are going to powerhouses and getting trained by literally elite offensive lineman technicians that are getting these guys ready to play. It's just different. It's different. It's interesting, but it's just different. I mean, there's a reason why these guys are coming out making $1.5 million as an 18, 19-year-old, because they are literally ready to go at that age. And so it's exciting to see that.
Calls for it.
Yep, it really does. So
cool, man. Let's move on to the next offensive lineman on the list. We're gonna go offense. We're gonna go kind of by position group the best that we can here. Let's talk a little bit about Dom Harris out of Las Vegas. 6'8", 335 pounds. If you're looking at the tape right now, ain't no way he weighs 335. Looking more like 355, 360 in this clip. But what I want to call out just before I get your guys' takes on him, he moves pretty well at that weight, and he plays both sides of the ball right now on offensive line and defensive line. Ranked as a 3-star nationally.
And excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
And running back and fullback.
Yeah, he ranks as a 3-star nationally, but I think if you go and look at that offer sheet and you're seeing names like Georgia, LSU, all these Big Ten schools, big programs who wanted him and wanted that framework and that ability to move at that weight, they wanted him in their program. So what are your guys' thoughts on Dom Harris here?
I mean, just a giant mauler, man. Just looking to just absolute put dudes in the dirt. I mean, he's a little raw, but I mean, his anchor power is going to be elite. I mean, he's going to be. I think he plays right tackle for UW in the coming years. I kind of look at him as his comp. I mean, very, very, very oddly familiar to Mekhi Becton. I mean, almost a mirrored look at Mekhi Becton to me. But in the end, this is somebody who you'll have your Dom Harrises and your Jack Schaefers. Those guys will battle it out for a lot of years to play, whether it's a early on inside and then move outside, something like that. But these guys will battle for one of the top 5 positions.
Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with the Mahler moniker for Dom Harris. He's somebody that just once he gets his hands on you, you're going the opposite direction. And so that's something that I always think of, that kind of clip from The Blind Side. He's like, I took him to the bus. It was time for him to go home. That's something that this is a kid who's going to be part of that all first off the bus team.
Amen.
Coming off, imposing people, just getting him into that strength and conditioning program. I think he is also an early enrollee, So that's at least two of our offensive linemen. I think Deong Yang will also be here early potentially. So you've got those offensive linemen coming in early, getting their bodies right, getting changed. And I like one thing, I like his loyalty. Played at Clark, probably could have had an opportunity to go over to like Bishop Gorman or some of the other higher caliber programs. Stayed at Clark, stayed with his team, continued to develop and gonna do great. Really excited for him.
One thing really quick on Izzo about Dom Harris is that we've kind of want to mention is when he got recruited and then committed to UW, it's not like a lot of other schools. A lot of other schools across the country continue to recruit him. I mean, he ended up getting a ton of looks from Missouri's, Auburn's, Oregon's.
Yeah, I mean, LSU notoriously right after.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, dude, and talk about loyalty, right? Stayed at Clark, didn't he? Stayed with UW, and he never really looked back. So gotta love that with him.
Absolutely love it. We pulled some size play style comps, or I did ahead of our recording here, just to kind of give you an idea. It's not necessarily, we're not saying that this is the guy that this guy is definitely going to be like, and we project him to be like this dude, but size and play style comp for Dom Harris was Orlando Brown Jr. If you remember him, he's a 3rd round pick out of Oklahoma, 6'8", 350, and he's currently with the Bengals, I believe. Cool. All right, guys, let's move along here. Deong Yang, Matt mentioned him as an early enrollee. Puyallup, hometown boy, 6'3", 343. What are your initial thoughts, Matt? If you want to talk a little bit about Deong.
Yeah, he was I would say an early in the cycle. Identified him early in the cycle, had some bad weight coming out of his junior year, and once committed, from what I heard, got with our nutrition staff, got his body right. I think he's actually, the 343 is inaccurate. I think he's closer to 320, 330 right now, which is awesome. And had to sit out for 4 games for transfer rules, but was a really, really big anchor on the interior offensive line. He's another one of those smaller guys. He looks quiet, but once you get him on the field, he plays with that quality violence that you want from an offensive lineman, an interior offensive lineman. Not afraid to get dirty. A little bit of a more fluid mover. He's going to be one of those guys that it's going to be 2 or 3 years in the program where he's going to start seeing more snaps and that sort of stuff with his development. But I really like the upside there. I like the identification, and being able to get him in the boat and get him in early will be great. Again, don't have it confirmed that he's enrolling early. I just thought I had read an article that said he was. So fingers crossed that he is. Okay.
Size comp for him and play style for the ceiling was Damian Lewis, Seahawks draft from 3rd round. LSU.
Yep.
So that was an interesting one. Love Deong. What I had heard about him is he's hardcore Husky, repping for the state, and really kind of drives that among that crew. So I love to see it. Let's move along here. Let's talk about signal caller. Let's talk about our boy Derek Zammit. Believe, does he still carry the 4-star ranking with the composite?
Yes.
Matt, why don't you kick us off? Talk a little bit about Derek Zammit.
4-year starter at DePaul Catholic. He has over, I think it's something around like 1,600 career rushing yards from the quarterback position. Ran a lot more this year. Had a phenomenal supporting cast as a junior. 2 4-star wide receivers. One is currently at Ohio State. The other one's currently at Notre Dame, and a 4-star running back that's currently at Notre Dame. And that's not including a couple of the offensive linemen, one of which is at Penn State. He's a gamer. I think he's got great pocket presence. I think he's able to make all the throws on the move, but also still able to execute. He plays in a really pro style offense that's very, very similar to the Washington offense. A lot of play action, a lot of under center, but also from the shotgun. Where he's really, really good is that intermediate accuracy. And so he's just going to be launching strikes, almost like I wouldn't necessarily say, well, you would probably say this more of like a pitcher.
Yeah.
Just getting it out there. And
I would say like a shortstop. I mean, for
shortstop, thank you. Yeah. I'm not a baseball guy. If you couldn't tell.
You're good. I mean, to me, at that height and weight and his ability, what I love there's a couple things that I really love about Derek Zammit, but one of them being the leadership qualities that he has and the vocal stuff that I think he brings a different element to the room. I'm not saying he's going to come in and be the leader of the room vocally. I'm just saying he brings a different element to a team, to a room that isn't as vocal. But with Zammit, I think he is not going to have that fear. The other things I really like about him is his ability to throw on the run, like you talked about. But I do like his deep ball. I will say he has a lot of zip, and you'll see him unload and use his full body on the run and make sure that he's on balance and that his mechanics are clean. But also, man, he generates a lot of zip in that kind of little compact frame that you see from shortstops, even when he's not on the run. So I really like what we can do with him, and especially the stuff with the legs, man. I think he's deceptively elusive as a runner. You'll see in some of the clips of him hitting spin moves in the open field on a tackler. That's just it doesn't look like he goes to run first. It looks like he goes to pass first, and then when the play breaks down, he'll make his reads, and then he'll bust a 30-yard run and stuff like that. So, Noah, what are your thoughts on Zammit?
Yeah, I mean, I love kind of the way you explained, like a little bit of like his, I don't know a better way to put it, like his like torque ability, the way he just gets everything out of his body to kind of like explode that ball off his hands. He does have a little more zip than I think people think he does, because it's like he doesn't maybe have that like power arm like you saw from Penix, but that thing comes zinging out of his hands, and that gets up on a receiver quick. The big thing I love about him, and you hear Jimmy Doherty talk about it with him a lot, as they continue the recruiting process, they asked him a lot of questions on the phone, and they wanted to just kind of see how that mental motor worked. He just continued to answer the questions exactly the way they were looking for, how he thought, why he thought this way, how he looked at defenses, how he processed. So being a quick processor, especially, is maybe a little bit what we're seeing certain quarterbacks throughout the country had, like it's harder to process. I think you see Derek coming out of high school with that ability. So I love his ability there. I love the Sam Levitt comp. I think he's somebody who he reminds me a little bit about him. So I'm excited to get him in our system and kind of see what he does for you.
It's hard not to do. It's hard not to watch the film and go Baker or Johnny Football or something like that. I think less Johnny Football, that backyard ball. I think Baker is what you're hoping for out of him, and that's the swagger, the East Coast New Jersey swagger is what I want to see.
I love it.
I love that. I love that the second clip in his, I think it's the second clip in his senior huddle, is him just absolutely getting to the goal line and trucking a defender and then just staring him down and mugging him.
I want that.
And that's, like you said, that swagger, kind of that quiet confidence that you have in Damon, and that kind of like smirk smile. And then just I'm going to run you over, and then I'm just going to glare at you that you get with Zammit.
It's a different element. It's awesome. So cool. Let's hop over to running backs, you guys. This is somebody that I think a lot of people are really excited for, and there's a lot of debates on comps with him. Noah, what are your thoughts on 4-star Brian Bonner, running back out of Valencia?
He's a home run hitter every time he touches the ball, especially in high school. I think you look at him though from a speed perspective, look at him from a vision perspective, and it's hard not to think he's going to be able to do that at the next level too. The comp that I saw in him was Kenneth Gainwell. Yep. I mean, that's a name that just, when I watched him run, it was like, it just reminded me a ton of him. Is he someone that gets on the field as a true freshman? Once again, going back to kind of what you see, if he gets here early, kind of understands the offense, how does he do in pass pro? That's a big thing with our staff. But I mean, hey, his start and stop ability is something that you see, and he's slippery. And I think you'll be able to have Brian get on the field early.
That was my thing with him. And this is like we said, this is like the third time we've recorded this. So we've had a lot of chances to debate on this, and heading into it. And Matt had talked about this, where he does have that ability to make guys miss in space, or in small spaces, which was my initial concern, because from the junior tape, it's just him burning by everybody. And even in the senior tape, you're going to see a lot of that, because that is the biggest trait with Brian Bonner, right? But there's a clip, and it has probably run through, of him on a run inside the tackles, where he absolutely cooks a guy inside a tiny small space and then takes off. And that's what I really wanted to see from his film, and we got a chance to see it. Matt, what are your other thoughts on Brian Bonner?
Yeah, I love his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, to do some of the things that we saw Jordan Washington do this year, those fly sweeps, those just kind of those stretch runs and get to the outside. And again, once he's in open space, you got a very, very tough time bringing him down.
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of his trajectory this year is going to be very similar to that of Bo Jackson at Ohio State, where he played a little bit early, but really kind of, and again, this is not a knock on Adam Muhammad. I think Adam Muhammad is going to very, very heavy in carries and stuff like that. He's showcased a lot more the more opportunities he's gotten. But again, that speed, I think he's probably going to play closer once he gets into the system and everything. He's probably going to play this fall or next fall at about 200, 205. So at about 10 to 15 pounds, maybe 20, because I think he's actually closer to 190 right now.
Yeah.
But you have that ability. I could see theoretically about 300 yards rushing, 100 yards receiving.
Yeah, impact
kind of
freshman.
Similarities. Impact freshman for sure. Like he's going to be hard to keep off the field with that vision and that speed and that power.
Yeah, it's a good mix. I think he's got some stiff competition because of what you asked from Quade Carr coming into this year, and his tape was unbelievable. It was similar things that you were looking for from him, and he saw the field this year, right? My expectation for Brian Bonner in year one is to not ask a ton of him because of the fact that if you have Jordan Washington next year, that the fly sweep stuff that you're probably going to go to him. But if somebody goes down, you have a very reliable guy who is a true freshman who you can bring in. And I see him in Quade Carr. Quade Carr came in and did put on that weight, 195, 200 type of thing, and has that ability, maybe not the deep end speed that Bonner has, and that might be the separator. So we'll see how it shakes out in camp. It'll be kind of an interesting third, fourth running back type of battle that you see from those two, or second, depending upon how you look at it. So anyways, that is Brian Bonner, you guys. Awesome running back, huge get to make sure that he didn't end up at UCLA in their coaching turmoil that they've dealt with. Cool. Let's talk Ansu, you guys. True dog. Ansu is probably what, 6'2", 230, probably.
Yeah, 230.
Huge, bruising running back. Not going to be the guy that absolutely turns it on and beats you deep. But goal line is where I would love to see us have a goal line specialist like Lindale White or something like that at Ansu. What are your guys' thoughts, Noah, if you want to kick us off with Ansu?
Yeah, angry runner, north and south, always finishes that extra yard. I know in one of our first or second ramp ups of this podcast, we talked a lot about the Chris Polk-esque runner in the sense of just always seems to even stopped at the line of scrimmage. He always falls for that extra yard, extra 2 yards. He's physical, man, and he just runs angry. He looks like he just wants to run through what's face, man, like the Marshawn Lynch saying. I mean, it's something that where we kind of have a stable of running backs right now, but could you imagine something like some sort of like beef package where you bring in an extra lineman with Ansu and Muhammad on the goal line? Just a jumbo. Yeah. I mean, just something fun like that. But I mean, he is somebody who he's an Oregon bruiser, man. I'm glad we got him at the UW. So,
amen. Maddie, thoughts on Ansu? By the way, really quick, I forgot this. The comp for Brian Bonner that was hotly debated before we hopped on was Raheem Mostert.
I love that.
Versus Kenneth Gainwell and some others as well. So sorry, I just wanted to make sure we got that in there because that was cool. Anyways, Ansu, Matt, go.
He was our first commit of this class. I say that he's the Thunder to Brian Bonner's Lightning. You'll see him play kind of how they lined up Jonah and Adam in the same backfield on the goal line sets, and they did almost like a fullback dive. Cade Eldridge kind of run those a couple of times from that tight end position. That's how Cade got his touchdown this season. But he's definitely somebody that I think he's a little bit shiftier in open space than people think he is.
Yeah,
he's not going to burn you.
Yeah,
but he's got some good cut ability. His senior film, I think, was a lot better than his junior film. Took his team to the playoffs, just consistently performed, and I love his pass protection and his willingness to block and free up his quarterback.
Listen to this.
Can I
Yeah.
say something real quick? Is just on the one cut thing. People always think like to be like a cut runner or like a shifty runner, you got to be like Barry Sanders or you got to be somewhere elite speed like that or lateral quickly
or something.
Yes, dude. If you're just coming north and south, just hammering down, you see this with Adam Muhammad. Dude, he's running right at you, and he makes that like slight just hitch to the right. Dude, that puts a dude in an absolute blender because they think 225 is coming right at him, and then all of a sudden you got to change your body, and now you got to tackle somebody running full speed at you just in that foot, 2 feet to your right or left. I mean, that elite type just movement when you just run north and south, it doesn't have to be Barry Sanders. It can be just one. I mean, you saw Marshawn Lynch do it a lot. Just one step over when you're running at somebody. I mean, it's a killer when you're trying to make a tackle.
I think that the challenge for Ansu is at that height and at that weight is if you're trying to get it to the NFL, there's some things that you got to do to make sure that you're in every down back. And I think that the pathway might be a bit of a challenge given the breadth of that room. So we'll see how that goes. And if he's open to accepting that kind of bruising back type role, which it sounds like he is, he's a diehard dog, one of our favorite people in this entire class for sure. Ansu, absolute beast. Happy the senior film was awesome. So let's move on to wide receivers. So we're not here all night, gentlemen. Mason James, we'll start there. I know Matt has probably some things to share about Mason James and what he likes. So we'll start with him. 5'11", 175 is what he's listed at. He isn't a big, imposing wide receiver. That's not what you're asking from him. He is, for me, the guy that stretches the field from like a slot. And he could probably play inside outside, but I expect him to be one of the fastest wide receivers in that room all immediately next year. Maddie, what are your thoughts on Mason James?
Wasn't he the number 1, number 2 recruit out of Oklahoma?
He was number 1, numero uno. If you look at the composite, yep.
Yeah. Number 1, love his route running ability. He trains with Margin Hooks, who's just a really, really well-known Texas, Oklahoma wide receiver trainer, basically consistently helps develop 4-stars. He plays bigger than that 5'11", but I look at him as kind of like Jacob Cowing. And I think that other staffers have comped him to that as well. And I like his swagger. I like his ability to just attack the ball out of the air. He's not going to go up and win your 50-50 balls, but he's going to win with some precision route running and then that run after the catch. So super, super excited. One of the guys that was identified early and was like, we need to get this guy in the boat and have been able to keep him committed. The kid plays in Norman, Oklahoma.
And you flipped him.
Good football.
Great football right down the road from University of Oklahoma.
Says a lot.
And you got him from Missouri and OU. Jacob Peeler is a phenomenal wide receivers coach, and Kevin Cummings won that battle.
Love that.
The biggest thing I think when I think of Mason James is I think of feel. I think he understands zone coverage. I think he knows how to get into just those little pockets. Not that he can't do everything over the top, or not that he can't beat you on deep balls, or he's actually pretty damn. He's a yak king actually. But point being is, I think he has a feel for the game, and I really just think that he's somebody who he should have an opportunity to kind of get his feet wet early. I mean, I look at him as like a Tank Dell kind of. That's the comp that I have for him but I mean, Matt hit this and I'll say it really quick and be done. I mean, he is an elite route runner. And it has to do probably with a lot of the training he's gotten, but what makes him special, and the same thing I think kind of with Trez Davis too, is when he makes his breaks, he's still running at top end speed. And I think that's what makes him special in being a wide receiver.
Amen. Yeah. Mason James, what a huge get. I mean, this wide receivers class is unbelievable. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and kick it over to Jordan Clay, 6'3", 200 pounds out of San Antonio, late flip for UW, huge freaking get, a different body type than what is in that room currently. Certainly not lacking any weight on the lower half. It looks like, no, I'll steal this from you, and I'm sorry, but I loved it a lot when you said it in our past attempts at this recording, which was the running back like lower half. And that's what it looks like. But a guy who can go up and get the ball. Maddie, what are your thoughts on Jordan Clay?
Yeah, I think number one thing, huge catch radius. He's somebody that we don't, once Denzel leaves, and obviously we also have Justice Williams. We'll see kind of, we just haven't seen the production out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And
But a big wide receiver is
but
what you're talking
that
about. Big
big,
body.
your big X, your outside wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to play early. He has good separation. He's not going to just burn you.
Yeah.
But like Noah has said, good run after the catch. The one thing for me is that 50-50 balls don't exist with him. He goes up and gets them. Mm-hmm. And there are clips in some of his senior highlights where he's literally covered by two defenders and he brings that ball in and then fights for extra yardage. You're going to see that a lot. He's going to be that bully on the outside.
Yeah. Navy All-American stud out of the state of Texas. Anytime you're pulling that off, it's a massive get. But yeah, no. What are your thoughts, Jordan Clay?
Dude blocks like a tight end. He's gonna get on the field early because of that. He does the things. He does the TNT, the things that are like takes no talent in the sense of I need grinders. I need guys that absolutely just want to like put dudes in the dirt. And I think that's what Jordan Clay kind of brings to that wide receiver room. He's mean. He's muscly. Like you said, big running back in the lower half type legs. Jordan Clay's it's a get, because it's something we don't actually have right now currently in that room. So
yeah. And I think one thing worth calling out with that size and that build is it breeds durability, knock on wood, but best ability is availability, to go with the ultra cliche term here. All right, let's move along, gentlemen. Trez Davis out of West Monroe, Louisiana. Stud. Again, kind of, we have a lot of the guys around that height and weight, but Trez Davis is a different type of athlete. Noah, what are your thoughts on Trez Davis, 4-star out of Louisiana?
Football player, man. I mean, he just loves the game. I read somewhere, Maddie, I don't know if you have this. I saw like 10.6, 10.700 with a 4.3, 540. Is that true? When I searched him, that's the numbers that came up. I thought that was like, wow. Something about him is, I guess he's just always been a kid who like always wanted to play college football, always was like, I'll play with the older kids. He's just a football player, man. Loves the game, studies the game. And I think he's somebody who, I don't know how early he plays per se, but I think he's somebody who will make a name for himself in purple and gold for sure.
Maddie.
Yeah. Noah had the comp in one of our early recordings, Juju Smith-Schuster. I see more of like a DJ Moore, probably going to play closer to that 200 pounds. And I just really like his ability. Like Noah said, he's a football player and
fluid mover, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He continues to make plays in space. He gets himself open, but he can go and get those contested catches. And he, again, for both of these wide receivers, for us to kind of, again, identified them early, but really got on them late, and to be able to pull the flips from, again, Tulane and then Houston, Florida, etc., for a boy from the boot, to get him up here and get the trust to develop in the system. And then Jordan Clay flipping him from Baylor, both of these guys kind of at the last minute, just says a lot about your program and the trust in the future of the program.
I like the natural separation that he brings in the movements that you guys are talking about. Well, it just shows that there's a lot of upside in what he can do. If he's already established those types of things, the rest of it's physical, and he's going to get looks and he's going to get plenty of opportunities. So Trez Davis is a huge get for all the reasons that we listed. Yeah.
Before we move off him, one thing that's kind of interesting is with Denzel Boston is this: if he does go to the NFL, that leaves a punt returner open. I see maybe not in the top 5 rotation of wide receivers, but I think an early special teams, like immediate contributor, somebody like Trez Davis.
Yeah, I would love. Yeah, I know they're looking for sure hands, and I'm sure that if he checks that box, I love that pull.
Yep.
So cool. Trez Davis, huge get. This next guy, another wide receiver, our final wide receiver of the group, is somebody who's comp that I have on the high side, well, not I have, but we kind of pulled it beforehand, and these two don't know I'm going to say this and they might roll their eyes because this is a lofty comp. But in terms of like consistently producing, Blaise LaVista, this guy stat stuffing 60 catches, 1,447 yards this year, 24 touchdowns. His get off from the line and his route running is insane. To me, with those combinations of things, knock on wood, health wise, the ceiling for me is absurd. But Ross St. Brown. And I think that when you look at the rating, you go, okay, this guy, we're talking about a 3-star here, Izzo, like, calm down. I think watch the tape. Like, watch what he's doing on these clips are, to me, elite when it comes to not just traits, but actually executing on the field. He looks like a college wide receiver in these clips to me right away. Like, it's going to, for me, I think what we're going to see is in spring when we start hearing about camp, and assuming he might be one of those guys that is an early enrollee, we're going to hear a lot of Blaise LaVista chatter about how do we keep this guy off the field, similar to the kind of Roebuck stuff that we heard coming into this. There's less development that I think that Blaise LaVista needs than a lot of wide receivers coming out of high school. Noah, what are your initial thoughts on those bold claims that I'm making for Blaise, and also what are your thoughts on them?
No, I mean it's a fun comp. I mean, I could look at like more like a Bobby Woods or a Robert Woods, maybe more. I'm Ross St. Brown.
A little bit more tan than
but no, but it's not terrible. I mean, I don't want to. I'm going to let Matt kind of tell the story on him. It's a very interesting story how we got him. But I want to say this. This is something you heard me complain about in the year, and it's something I want to talk about. Illinois' wide receiver in the cold. Still had 60 catches, I think, as it says, as a junior. Had 55 catches as a senior, I think. And then, I mean, we need that. We need that in the Big Ten. I love that. This kid's a grinder. He's a jump ball hunter. I mean, he's somebody who people are going to look at him and go, man, is this kid ever going to see the field? Dude, don't sleep on Blaise LaVista. I'm telling you.
Like, what's the knock?
I know.
I don't honestly, and I'm trying to sit here objectively and watch this, but like, what are you like looking for? Do you wish? Okay, yeah, we wish every receiver was 6'4". But dude, I honestly watch this and I'm like, this is some absolutely elite tape. I have no idea how with all of those stats and this tape, how he's flown under the radar the way he has.
Do you want to know really quick before Matty goes? One thing that he might give more than anybody is elite deep threat. Yeah. And it's not just about speed with deep threat. It's being able to stack over top of a cornerback. It's how you go up and attack the football. Dude, Blaise LaVista might be the best one out of all these receivers.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Matty.
We're Dugan over here. Do you want to bring us back down to earth, or what are your thoughts?
I'm going to bring you guys back down to earth strictly in the sense that tapering expectations early, given that he only played 5 games his senior season.
He's Jerry Rice. Come on, stop. Sorry, guys.
only played 5 games. He tore his ACL. He's a little over a month recovering post-surgery from that torn ACL. He will probably be limited in spring, but he's probably going to be a name that you start to hear in fall camp once he's fully healthy. I think they're not going to rush him. I really like, in terms of recency, Luke McCaffrey. Same size, same build. He's not going to, obviously Luke McCaffrey had, I can't remember what his 40 was at the combine, but he's got the ability to separate, but his bigger kind of win is making those contested catches and winning more specifically at the top of his route. That's where you see a lot of those wins. So that those big play ability. And kind of the cool backstory, obviously, for those that don't follow the pod, that don't follow recruiting.
McCaffrey was a 4.46 of the combine.
I would love it if that's what Blaise runs. I have no idea.
I mean, I think
size comps are the same.
No, Matt, I love that. I think what I wanted to just interject is that his get off of the line on some of these clips that are showing right now is insane. Like he immediate 0 to 60. And so that's why
very sudden.
It's very so sudden. and
Maddie,
control.
Maddie, tell the quick story real quick, because I think there's a ton of validity to just him kind of going under the radar, but who he was doing it against at these camps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he really kind of broke out at the OT7 competition. He won Alpha Dog one of the days at OT7s
In Florida.
Big 7-on-7. They held him in Texas, Florida, regional, etc. And he was basically like just cooking these 4-star and 5-star defensive backs consistently. And so, and I think Noah has a little bit more of the backstory too, but basically like a staffer, an Adidas like staff member was there and was like, oh man, like, let me give somebody a call. And I think they contacted like Matt Doherty,
Kevin Cummings,
senior director of player personnel, and our wide receivers coach. And we're like, hey, you guys got to take a look at this guy. They took a look at it, let Jed know. Jed made a phone call, called this kid like after, I think he was either like sitting on a beach, hanging out, like chilling with family, doing something, and offered him. And a lot of teams, once he got that UW offer and announced that UW offer, a lot of teams actually came in, and he actually made a very early decision in, quite frankly, his recruitment process, and was like, no, like, I believe in them. They believe in me. I'm shutting it down. And I think that's probably led a little bit to his rating, but I'm fine with it. It is what it is. Ratings aren't necessarily everything. Just turn on the tape and you can see the production. And I love that he transferred to his senior year to play with an elite quarterback in USC signee Jonas Williams, because again, just kind of being able to showcase his talent.
He's a freak, man.
Super excited for him.
He was absolutely cooking Dylan Purter. He was kicking CJ Brown out. The Florida, the Gators, like big cornerback recruits. Yeah. Our staff went on like the OT7's like live feed. We're watching him, and Cummings and Doherty were like, all I need to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need the star ranking, man. I just think it's way too blatant on film. It's way too blatant for me.
Exciting
so
whites.
Freaking exciting. Yeah. Cool. Let's move on. We are behind time, which is fine and expected. Sammy Vyhlidal. We were super pumped about this. I'll just kind of briefly mention we have an in-house scout, Juicy Jensen, who's been in the industry for quite a long time now. He loves to give breakdowns on these players, and I'll oftentimes use them for our tweets when a player commits. He was freaking out about Sam Vyhlidal. This was his, like, he has a group of my guys within every Husky football class. This was shot immediately as soon as he committed, shot to the very top of that list. Couldn't believe that he was rated where he was and didn't have in-state offers. Sam Vyhlidal from Lake Oswego, Oregon, 6'4". I think he's probably closer to like 240. I know this is saying 225. That's not accurate. You'll see him. We're looking at junior film here. And with him, you'll see him at the quarterback position, them just running direct runs with him. Just a unique athlete, as a lot of these tight ends are, obviously, in their build. But I think he's a guy that can kind of do it all with blocking, with pass catching. He's a unique athlete. Noah, any thoughts you want to add on Sammy Vyhlidal?
I just think he's somebody who, I mean, he fits the mold of what we're looking for so well. I mean, catch radius, can block. I think he might have an opportunity to play a little bit of this H-back role too, put some mismatches in motion, maybe a little bit like he's kind of a hybrid, in my opinion, between like a Decker and like a Q Moore. Maybe doesn't do either one as well as those guys in the sense of just like coming straight out of high school. Yeah. But I think that he's somebody who, I mean,
Jack Westover, like, dude, that style.
Yep, exactly. Go ahead, Matty.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan. Any of those Oregon underrated tight ends, Charlie Crowell, Baron Neone, like, those dudes are dogs. I like him a lot. He's not, again, he's sneaky fast from the tight end position. They've lined him at a Wildcat quarterback. I see kind of like AJ Barner-esque in his future, to where, again, AJ Barner is a phenomenal blocker. So that's something that Sam really needs to develop.
Dude, Sam blocks like he hates the guy across from him.
I love him.
And that's the thing is he can block. I think he just needs to add a little bit more strength and everything like that. And not only that, but he was a first team all district as an outside linebacker. So you can see, and that's where they were originally recruiting him was outside backer. And
weren't there some people, Maddie, weren't there some people on the Discord that were like saying like, dude, I think Sam Vyhlidal might be able to play edge or outside linebacker for the Dogs. I swear, I remember people saying that as well.
Yeah. And he could. I just think that we're going in a slightly different direction for that true outside backer position.
Yeah, we got some studs there for sure.
And I think his higher upside, just as the staff does, is at tight end. I think you're going to see, I think he's kind of like a shorter Tyler Higbee, kind of to go with that Sean McVay, but where they'll put him in motion, do a little tight end sweep, etc.
Yeah.
I could see all of that.
He's the next George Kittle. Let's move on.
Easy, Con. That was okay.
Don't forget about Rhino.
Yeah, I'm not going
Big Rhino.
Yeah, let's talk about our latest commitment, Rhino Aumua, of which I don't have his thing up, but I am scrambling right now to pull it up. Huge. He's being brought in. I think it's pretty clear. I don't know how much time we need to spend on him just because for sake of time, but I'll just quickly say 6 foot. He's staunchly saying, and you can see him on Twitter saying it. He is 6'6", all of 255 pounds. I think that's pretty much spot on for where I would have him. Elite blocker is what you see in the future for him. I'm not saying he has everything refined right now, but he has the athleticism. You could put 20 pounds on him and throw him out at tackle. We're stacked at tackle, so I don't think we need to do that. But this guy is being brought in to be an inline blocker initially who can catch. He is a willing catcher, will catch in traffic and be unafraid, and is big enough in the Big Ten to be that type of dude.
Do we think he pushes Baranone a little bit?
It's hard to deny at that size, man. It just depends upon, I think, whether or not they want to commit to we have a blocking tight end that we're bringing on and blocking plays, or do we want a guy who can do both? And so that we can kind of disguise that, because I think some of that gets lost in this year's scheme where you're clearly bringing in Q more to block and you're clearly bringing in Decker if he's going to be a pass catcher. You know what I mean? And so I think Rhino has the upside to be a solid receiver, but it's really obvious as you watch him to see him as
who is some of his offers? Can you scroll real quick? Did he have Utah as an offer?
So we flipped from Florida, but he had Auburn, I believe. Did he have Utah?
Why did I think he had Utah? There was something about him that I was like,
probably had Utah.
Yeah, there was something about him that I was like, he just reminded me
Utah type guy.
Wait, he just reminded me of Utah, and for some reason,
at BYU though.
Yeah, but he's somebody. Hey, don't sleep on his pass catching ability, especially like short, intermediate, like stick routes. I mean, when he gets the ball out in the flat and just rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. I mean, he's somebody you don't want to have to come up and tackle as a small DB. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Maddie, anything real quick you want to add on that, or should we move on?
Yeah, just quick hitter. Obviously, for those that are wondering how a Hawaii kid committed to Florida, he played his junior year at IMG. There was some initial concern late about Auburn coming in and whether or not he'd want to play in the South more so than play on the West Coast, et cetera. But he's Q-More 2.0. I think, again, probably going to redshirt just based on my thoughts. The body, kind of develop that body, but as a redshirt freshman, he's going to see the field.
Awesome. Cool.
Let's go, baby.
Rhino Aumua, stoked. I know Florida fans were not pleased about that one.
Rhino.
They were pissed.
Welcome to Malu.
They were very pissed. Let's talk defense, guys, and we're going to start with the beast, the animal, DCB, Derek Colman-Brusa, Kennedy Catholic, 6'5", 265 pounds. He's all of that. He is top tier priority for us. Ohio State absolutely chomping at the bit. Oregon absolutely chomping at the bit. And you locked him down and won him over those schools. Like, this is not a recruitment where it was like, oh, he just decided hometown school, he's going to go that route. Once Kodi became a Husky, things really started heating up, or when that was heating up, I think that was a big deciding piece for him. And you've seen Derek say it himself. He wanted to go against the elite guy, and that is Kodi Greene. And Derek is elite in his own right at just about everything you're going to ask from an edge. Noah, as a former college football defensive and give us your breakdown on why you like Derek Colman-Brusa.
He's a full package player. You look at him, and he has the power. He has the speed. He has the bend. I mean, and the biggest thing for me, I think that he has more than anything that a lot of you have from kids who are just kind of your normal high school player is he has that motor. And sometimes you don't see that from the elite players is they show you what they got and maybe the ball runs away from and they're kind of like, hey, I'm not going to get injured. I'm not going to chase that down. That's not Derek Colman-Brusa. He is 110% every play. But he is he is an arc bender. I mean, he converts speed to power in all forms and facets, and you see it, man. He plays low. He doesn't stand in the game even when he gets tired. He's a well-oiled machine, and I'll tell you right now, talking about Kodi playing day one, the defensive ends and the edges in this University of Washington rooms, dude, they better watch out, man. This kid will come steal their job, and he'll be our day one starter if some guys aren't ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, between him, Lane, and Devin Hyde, the all motor team right there. Real quick, DCB, Maddie, give us 60 seconds on what your thoughts are for DCB.
Yep, just quick hitters, power, speed, violence, and he's going to be in the rotation early. There's no way about it. And obviously, I expect us to bring in players at the edge room in the portal just due to just a lack of depth there, but he can play in the Big Ten in a rotational basis.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be a full-time starter, but he's going to get reps.
Yeah. You guys remember Ohio State Jack Sears? I kind of see a little bit of
Jack Sawyer.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you. I don't know Jack Sears. I think he's like a singer or something. But yeah, Jack Sawyer. He's Jack Sawyer 2.0. I think Derek Colman-Brusa might actually have a little bit better bend and be a little more athletic. But Jack Sawyer, his game kind of is oddly familiar when I watch Derek Colman-Brusa.
That is no embellishment, man. He's being recruited like that. Trust when I tell you, Ohio State was not happy about that loss to UW, and it's about time that we laid the fence down from Ohio State. Get them stop taking these elite dudes. So kudos to Jed, and I would echo your sentiment based on all the different things that factor into recruitment. Derek Colman-Brusa is going to be expected to contribute 100%. So Derek Colman-Brusa, you're a freaking dog. I'm so pumped. I saw him at the Apple Cup. Gave him a go dogs. He gave me a go dogs back, and I knew it was over. I could have thrown in the crystal ball early. That was it. He committed right there to me.
The Izzo ball.
Okay, JD Hill, gentlemen, 6'1", 6'2" is probably the realistic range for him.
Sorry, this is my guy.
Go for it. Go off. I love it.
One of those guys that I was watching. I think it was myself and fellow Discord member Saint Dog were watching a Mission Viejo game.
You were watching Jeron Jones, right?
We were watching Jeron Jones, and we're like, who is this guy? Like, what's going on with their defensive line? Who's this number 5? And we immediately looked him up, and we're like, he's committed to NAU. We looked at the stats, and we looked at the junior film, and we're like, this dude is everywhere.
Just a game wrecker.
Why is he rated so low? Why is this? And it is the definition of rising as a senior in the evaluation, in the performance. He had 5 sacks against Folsom, and Folsom obviously not what Folsom used to be. But when you get 5 sacks against Folsom, he had Vlad Dikonov, I think is how you pronounce his last name, the 4-star USC commit. He had him in the spin cycle. He is somebody that just plays. I think my UW comp to him is voice fee. And
that's the right one.
Size, speed, and everything like that. He's probably going to move inside as he develops, but he's going to play outside backer edge for us to start. And he's just somebody that relentlessly gets the quarterback, something around 38 to 40 career sacks in like 2.5 years is insane. I call him the Tasmanian Devil.
I love that.
It was between us and West Virginia at the very end, and we got him very late in the cycle. He went from an NAU commit to being rated the number 13 overall defensive lineman in the country for good reason, and he stuffed the stats. Obviously, he's not the length that you're looking for, but he brings, like you just said, that Voitinufi ability to bounce inside and outside, that versatility up front, and you're seeing that a lot from like the DCBs, the Tom Malus, and things like that. Noah, what are your thoughts on JD Hill?
I mean, stat stuffer is a great punch there. 12 tackle for losses in their playoff run. It was unbelievable. You're gonna think this kid, because of the kind of the leverage he has, just plays so low, plays with his hand in the dirt. You're gonna think his rip move is about as elite as it gets. I kind of looked at him as thinking he would really be that inside guy, gap plugger, like you're saying. But dude, I think he has the ability to kind of, if he's a great comp, Joe Mathis, play a little bit of that bigger role, 3 technique, also play 5 technique. Couple years, man, JD Hill's going to be a name you hear a lot for Tony Castricone and the boys. I'll tell you that.
Love it. That is JD Hill. Let's talk about our boy T.I. Umu-Cais. Hopefully I'm pronouncing, I'm probably botching his last name. I'll learn it over time. Apologies there. But this guy is a brick in the middle. Number 1 player, I believe. Did he end up, or was he number 2 or number 3 in the state of Colorado? Where did he end up?
He's ironically the number 5 player in the composite, but I think once they reevaluate or do a final evaluation of his senior film, like, the dude's a monster.
He's a beast, man. He's ready to roll, and he's probably, depending upon what we do in the portal, which I think there's going to be definitely some needs in the portal at defensive lineman. We're losing like 3 or 4 senior guys to graduation and whatnot. And this is a dude who I don't have any doubt is strong enough to come in and play, but we will see. He's probably going to see the field quite a bit this year too, just out of pure necessity, but we'll see what we do in the portal. What are your guys' thoughts on TI? We'll start with.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be he's the nose tackle of the future, no question. I mean, his bull rush ability, just the torque and the leverage that he creates, he's going to be somebody, he'll be a weight room war daddy. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, he's a hand fighter. He can collapse the pocket from the interior. He's somebody who, at the end of the day, man, I mean, he's an all Big Ten type player. Watch out for T.I., man. He's that rubber band, man. Wild as a Taliban. Let's go, baby. Come on.
We needed, at the time that he committed, a lot of people were like, what are we doing at interior defensive line? What are we doing at the interior defensive line? We saw a bunch of names come off the board, and we really needed to get this one, and we pulled it off. And that was huge for us against Colorado and some other teams as well. But I think Colorado State was even making a heavy push for him. I don't know how seriously he was taking those, but there were some other schools in the mix. Blue chip kid, stud, 6'3", 307. Matt, what are your thoughts on T.I.?
He's a monster. Like,
he's a monster. David Schwerzel.
Yeah, let's moving on.
What is there to say? He's exactly what you're looking for from a nose tackle at this level. So nothing else.
I said it in the intro. He's criminally underrated. I don't even care what you just put on the tape.
Yeah, amen.
Cut the tape.
You guys, we need to talk about David Schwerzel. Really interesting situation. Right at the end of his recruitment, he flipped from UCLA to UW, kind of towed around that 3-4 star range. Obviously at O'Day, they won the state title. He was a big piece of that.
Yeah, congrats.
Yep, that was an awesome win for the boys down at O'Day. He was getting courted by UW. He was getting courted by Stanford, getting courted by UCLA. And the way the things that shook out, obviously there's a lot of turmoil in coaches and something spun over. And UCLA sounded like, based on reporting, that UCLA, the new staff decided not to honor David Schwerzel's commitment. They pulled it, and UW came right in and was like, hey, David, let's stay home, man. Let's call it a day and have you be a dog for life. Maddie, initial thoughts on David Schwerzel?
Yeah, he's going to be he's going to play inside. I mean, I think that was part of the hesitation on his part, wanting to potentially play edge, play outside. Unfortunately, he's I wouldn't even say unfortunately. I think once he has that realization, once he continues to develop, he's going to be like, okay, cool. He's going to be more of that Tai Uyunglele, like position for us as he develops strength. I think he's definitely he's got to add that strength. I think he's going to play probably around 275, 285, and that'll be fine. So
what do you got? What are your thoughts, Noah?
Go for it. Yeah.
If he loves the game and he loves the process, and I'm going to say that again, if he loves the game and loves the process, he will need to put on weight to be able to play that 3 technique and then play at the University of Washington. His skill can be very good, but it needs to be in 2 years. He needs to get in the weight room, he needs to get on the plyometrics, and he needs to be able to develop. And it's not that he can't be special at that, but we talked to him about that early. He wanted to play edge, and Stanford and UCLA was okay with that. He's going to come home. He's going to play. I love the Tai comp on that because he can be Tai, but he's going to need to love the game and love the process to get there.
Right. Cool. Yeah. David Schwerzel, excited to get him in here and get that addition into this class. And again, congratulations on the state title. Let's talk briefly. There's not a ton of tape on Ta'a Malu for this year, at least none that I could see. So I don't have a ton on him, but this is somebody who's projects to be a developmental guy that we bring in and to learn the game, and he wants to learn the game, and it comes from a lineage of fighters, things like that, has that kind of like that we've seen with Omar Khan and some of these other guys that they're bringing in. Victor Sanchez Hernandez is another one where they really like, if they're going to have like somebody who they bring in and needs to be developed over time, this guy who is good with his hands. And a lot of these dudes are fighters, and Ta'a Malu is one of those guys. Any quick thoughts on Ta'a Malu from you two?
I got one thing. 6'4", 6'5", 280, 290. It's hard to teach somebody who can play that penetrating interior gap type, shoot the gap, have that burst. He's raw, and raw's okay. He's somebody who probably plays in a couple years, and I think that's kind of what the staff looks at him as. It's hard to teach size, right? So I think that's kind of what you get from him. Look forward to him once again. Do you love the game? Do you love the process? Because I say it that way, but dude, it's grueling when you're on scout team. It's grueling when you don't get a lot of time. But you just hold firm. It'll come. So you just got to love the game and love the process.
Cool, Maddie. Anything you want to add?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head on that one.
Cool. Let's scoot over to Ramzak. I know you got some stuff to say about Ramzak, and I do too. This is somebody I heard early on. Last year coming into this year with Odom coming in at linebackers coach, there was basically just like, hey, put on some weight. We want to see what you got this year from the tape. Let's get after it. And boy, if what you are seeing on screen is any indication, this guy listened and did exactly that. Ramzak is somebody who, in the circles that I chat with around our recruiting, that shot up this year from the very beginning of this year, way up the boards. I'm talking like maybe a top 5 guy type of thing. Absolute put on the weight, still shows that athleticism, extremely versatile. Fill me in, Maddie, on what you've heard about Ramzak and what you like about his game.
Yeah, I mean, as a junior, and even a little bit more as a senior, he was playing kind of like hybrid strong safety outside linebacker position. A lot of dropping in space, a lot of dropping in coverage. True 6'4". He's actually probably closer to 225 right now from what I've heard and read. I think both of these linebackers are special, and I think they are both criminally underrated. And I've said it about T.I., but I'm definitely going to say it about these two guys. Ramzak, absolutely. Yeah, I haven't heard 230. I heard 230 for easy. And just, I think the variation between the two of them is really, really cool because you get a little bit of different things. But as a coverage linebacker, it's everything you could hope for, man.
Yeah.
Like, this kid's going to play at like 235 and 235, 240. And
6'4", has all the ability.
Are you thinking traditional linebacker for Ramzak?
I lean more towards like traditional.
You do.
Honestly,
Interesting.
I think he's going to play. I think he's going to be one of those guys where you're going to play him in the middle. Again, it's the Walter scheme. So you're going to have them then sit down in kind of like that mug position where they're in between. You kind of show them in between the defensive tackles, both your linebackers, and one will blitz, one will drop out in coverage, or they'll stunt. A lot of different opportunities. Very, very versatile. Very versatile with both of these guys.
What are your thoughts on Ramzak now?
Oh, just sideline to sideline range, man. The way he can cover a tight end, his length when he gets into his linebacker drops too. We expect our edges, whether he plays outside linebacker, edge, like traditional linebacker, we expect all those guys to be able to drop in coverage. I do think early, just because kind of where our linebacker room is, I don't know how often he gets on the field from playing that edge outside linebacker role, but I do think he's a special teams type player as a true freshman. So
yeah, cool. Okay. Basically depends upon usage. And Maddie, to your point, probably end up right because of just how much we use inside linebackers. But there's a lot of these guys that we're stacking at these positions too that are this 6'4", 6'5" frame. And
you have to in the Big Ten, man.
Yeah. Yep. So it'll be really interesting to see how they end up with usage.
Hey, is a really quick on Ramzak. Weren't there like some other like higher like rated linebackers that we were like in on, and our staff was just like, dude, I don't care about this kid's rating.
Yeah,
he is an absolute dog.
Yeah, they wanted him real bad this year.
Yeah,
and I can just tell you that with extreme confidence for sure.
Love that.
So let's move on. Ezaya Tokio. 6'4", 220 pounds out of Oceanside, California. We talked a little bit about him. Matt, is there anything you want to kind of add to what you were saying about Ezaya?
Yeah, he's going to play. I personally think he's going to play more of that Ghost 9, that outside linebacker where you saw X-Ray Alexander kind of bulk up and play. He's a legit 230 right now. I read somewhere or heard somewhere that he wants to get up to like 240 by the time he gets on campus, which wow, definitely needs to add it kind of more in the lower body. So I'm hoping that's where it's bulking up. But you're talking about somebody that played 10 games in his senior season, logged 8 sacks from the linebacker position and 76 tackles. Like he's not, I think he had like 5 or 6 tackles in 4 games, or 5 or 6 sacks in 4 games as a junior as well.
Yeah, it was. You're cut short. Yep. I remember that.
Yeah. And so you're talking about somebody that is a prolific pass rusher, but again, can also draw back in coverage, that provides that versatility. Those Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, kind of what we aspire to. Obviously, rankings, ratings different, but that size, speed, comp, playmaking ability, again, huge. They're gonna clog the passing lanes. They're gonna kind of move up to the line of scrimmage. You're not going to know if they're going to be running or not. But when they draw back in coverage, you're going to have 2 6'4", 6'3" guys. There's just so much length in that linebacker room now.
My comp for Ezaya was actually Travis Feeney.
Yes.
Yeah, especially if you're going to have him play that Ghost 9, elite edge rusher, but can drop into coverage. I mean, can chase down a running back going the other way, coming off the weak side. I mean, he has the elite track down ability. It's just he's a special athlete.
Agreed. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Like, would you guys consider? I guess this is a question for everybody. If you're going to say there's an outside linebacker's position for UW, it is the Ghost 9.
I mean, it's
like tit for tat with how you want to consider those positions in my mind, but
it matters what the play call is, because the Ghost 9 that's like a wide over top of a tackle, over top of a tight end, something like that. But I mean, you're going to expect your edges and your outside linebackers to be able to go outside shade of a tackle as well and be able to stifle him and set the edge. So it's just what the play call is. It's what the front is. Do you bring in that extra tight end? If you bring in a tight end, then you're outside of him. You know what I mean? So it's like it just depends on what the
safeties are doing to me or the nickel, right? Like, are they going to be the guy that's in coverage against the tight end? And so they'll probably play around with that a little bit. Yeah. But I see both Ezaya and Ramzak effective in those positions because of the pursuit for both.
If EZ can play, if he's at 240, 245, dude, I'm telling you, he can play over top of tackle. He can play head up on a tight end. He can play the wide 9. It's not going to matter what the number is, 5, 7, 9. It doesn't matter. If he's big enough, he's athletic enough to be able to play any of those positions.
That's how I feel about both of him and Ramzak. So we'll see. And I know there's difference of opinion. They're minute. We'll see how they develop over time. Let's move on to the DBs, guys, in the home stretch here as we wrap things up. And there is 5 of them, and these boys can play. Jeron Jones, arguably right from the jump, was a guy that we had heading into his senior year as the top target at the cornerback position. Kind of does it all really well. He's down at Mission Viejo, 4-star kid. Noah, what are your thoughts on Jeron Jones here?
Quick, man. I love that he plays elite California football. If I was to pick any player, I think he is probably the most ready to go in college.
The cornerback spot.
Yep. I do. I think that he just makes plays, man. And I think that the game in, game out, week in, week out, who he's playing with in that CIF division, man, I'm telling you, he sees 4-star, 5-stars every week. And dude, he's locked down.
So. Hey, man. Yeah. Hard to find a knock. Matt, talk to us a little bit about Jeron.
Yeah. So Jones, Mission Viejo, playing in that Trinity League, you're seeing a lot of just elite level talent, obviously going against multiple 4-star receivers over the course of the season. He plays bigger than his size, 10 interceptions in the last 2 years, 13 interceptions in the last 3 years.
5'11", 6 foot. I mean, do you think he's more of a nickel, or do you think he's like traditional outside cornerback for?
I think he's position versatile at that point. I think, quite frankly, I know that they tend to like those taller 6'1" plus corners. He can play. He can play against guys that are 6'2", 6'3". Yeah. He played Trent Mosley. He lined up a lot against Trent Mosley in the first game, Santa Margarita Catholic. Trent Mosley, 4-star, one of the best wide receivers in the state of California this year.
He shut him down.
And he shut him down. Trent had 7 receptions for 52 yards, but a lot of those came when he was not matched up against Jeron Jones. It was when he was going up against their younger junior corner.
Did we fall on to Jeron Jones recruiting the other beast of cornerback? Yeah, Dijon Lee that was there before and saw Jeron Jones and were like, hey, let's I guess I don't need to ask the question, but they fell in love with Jeron Jones right from the jump. And he wasn't a under-recruited guy. He is a guy as blue chip cornerback. So at Mission Viejo. So, all right, that's Jeron Jones. Let's talk about Rahsjon Duncan, obviously under the tutelage of Marcus Peters. This is somebody that the first thing that jumps out on tape, I'm pretty sure this clip, if it's not coming up right now, it's about to, lays absolute hat and just reckless abandon with the body, man. I want to see this kid stay healthy, but I do not want to see these hits go away. I'm so excited. This is like Death Row Dogs are back, baby. No, what are your thoughts on Rahsjon Duncan?
It's easy. When I look at Jeron Jones, I think, like I said, I think he's like probably most game ready right away. But I think Rahsjon Duncan might have the highest ceiling at any of the cornerbacks. I think he's a press man specialist. He's somebody who you go, hey, Rahsjon, you got that guy, and we'll see you in 60 minutes. I mean, it's just, dude, he is locked down. He's a physical tackler. He wants to take your head off. I don't know, like you guys said with Marcus Peters, uncle, cousin, whatever it is, he has that in his blood, man. And I'm telling you, he's Oakland bred, man. He's going to be a dog for sure.
He's the absolute definition of dog. Matt, anything you want to add on to Rahsjon Duncan? People are probably Googling over his tape right now.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, whether it was like Greg Biggins, Andrew Ivins,
somebody,
Blair Angulo, Brandon Huffman. One of those guys said that Washington landed the hardest hitting corner and safety in the Western United States this cycle.
Easily said,
man. In Gavin Day and Rahsjon Duncan. Yeah. And you see it, like, this guy is a monster. And what's great is obviously he plays receiver and corner as most corners do. Elijah Durr being one of them, had a big touchdown reception in their playoff loss to, to what it was, O'Day. Did they lose to O'Day?
Yep.
And so you're looking at just somebody that not only can cover, he's going to, like you said, play that press man coverage. When you're getting tutelage from such an aggressive
dog
corner himself, right, you're going to adopt that mentality. And it's something that Coach Richardson and Coach Walters, they want
in their chops. Yeah,
yep.
Man. And it's
Lockdown Island incoming, boys.
Yeah,
like a Montlake.
The length that who he's being coached under, the fact that he shows it on film too, just a stud all around. But the thing that pops obviously on this tape is him absolutely obliterating poor wide receivers. So let's move on. We are in the home stretch, gentlemen. We have three more. We probably won't cover CJ Wallace. Sorry, CJ, we love you. You're a kicker. You're the man. You're a great kicker. But we'll cover these last three DBs and we'll call it a day here. But Elijah Durr out of Mount Tahoma. Obviously, they took that tough loss to O'Day in the championship, in the state championship. Track guy, triple jump type of athlete that is somebody that you can mold. And I think this room is really deep, and I expect Elijah Durr to come in and compete. And I think for a lot of the people that I talk to, they think that he is going to come in and surprise some people just with the athletic ability. He's kind of maybe somewhere between your Rahsjon Duncan and Jeron Jones in terms of size. What are your thoughts on Elijah Durr, guys? Just in general. Noah, if you want to jump first.
I think he's got a little bit of swag in him that I like. I think he wants to come down the alley, and I think he wants to absolutely like take someone's head off. I think there's a little bit of refinement in his game he might need at the next level, but I think the staff sees just the overall athleticism in him, and I think he's got a lot of upsides. Maybe a little raw, but I think there's a lot to like there.
Sure. Yeah. Maddie, quick thoughts.
Yeah. I think he's really, really aggressive attacking the ball. It comes from that receiver mentality. And he is somebody that's going to fight for the ball, fight for possession. And I think you're going to see a lot of passes defensed from him once he hits the field.
Yeah, a lot of pass deflection. Yeah, that's a good call. I like that. Yeah. You guys, last two.
Let's do Ksani first.
Let's do Ksani first because Gavin Day, we can kind of go on about. We're all extremely excited about Gavin Day, but also about Ksani Jiles, who's down there at IMG. And I believe he was out his entire junior year, if I'm not mistaken. And he came on his senior year and showed out in the ways that we would expect him to. Stayed committed to the Dogs. John Richardson did a fantastic job getting on him early and closing him. What are your guys' thoughts on Ksani Jiles? No, if you want to kick us off.
Elite tackler. I think he has a lot of upside. I think it's going to take him a full year or two to really get back to his, I want to say, like elite athleticism. I mean, when you're at IMG, you're going against national competition week in and week out. I'm excited to get Ksani into UW and just kind of get him under the tutelage of Jay Rich. So,
Maddie.
Yeah, I think that versatility that he brings, I do think he eventually moves into the safety room just because of that comfortability playing a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily say deeper, or he's going to play kind of like a rotational slot.
But just keeping things in front, basically.
Yeah,
and
I think he's best at that. I wouldn't say that man coverage is a strength for him just based on kind of some of the one-on-ones that I've seen. Hopefully that's improved and whatnot. But I think as a zone defensive back, he's going to be very, very beneficial.
Awesome. You guys, Gavin Day, let's talk about him. Obviously, huge rating boost recently. I think 2 weeks ago before signing day, or was it two or 3 weeks ago, shot up to a top 100 player overall in the country via 247's rating. 101 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions. Lays hat. I'm not sure that there's this is another one of those players for me where it's like Blaise LaVista, where it's kind of like, what's the knock? I don't see one from what you're wanting out of a safety prospect. And for me, this is a day one special teams guy who's going to play no matter what. And I think for Noah, he told us as we were kind of talking about this, either I can't remember if it was at the beginning of this podcast. We've been doing it now for a while or before, but said he'd probably see the field day one. It's gonna be impossible to keep him off. Noah, what are your thoughts on Gavin Day?
I mean, 6'3", he's 190, 195 now. Don't let this kid get to 205. He will be an absolute killer, just patrolling the secondary. The only knock that he has is he hits people so hard that I think refs almost are going to feel like they have to call a targeting. And I'm not kidding. He is the hardest hitting safety in this class, and it's not close. You can blitz him from anywhere. We will be able to do, I think, guys like Gavin Day. I think guys like Rahsjon Duncan. I think guys like Jeron Jones are why you see coaches getting maybe offers from other schools in the SEC, and they go, man, I got a lot of talent right here. Gavin Day is one of those guys who's an all Big Ten, All-American type player. The last thing I'll say about him is, I mean, he is a ball hawk and he has a nose for the football. He seems like he's just always kind of on top of it. You watch his film, very first play, I think they have him like taking something back, like 90-yard pick six. And I mean, he's a playmaker, man, and he's exciting. If Alex McLaughlin's not careful, man, he'll have this kid nipping at his heels. I promise you on that.
Yeah, some guys are born to play football. Gavin Day he is doing what the good Lord has called upon him to do, which is lay people out and play football at an elite level. Matt, anything you want to add on to Gavin Day?
Yeah, I called him a heat-seeking missile, which is fairly accurate. But he's a heat-seeking missile with great ball skills. And as evidenced by 2 interceptions, he is consistently around the ball. One thing that I will say that I love about him, I think I said, like, refs are going to want to throw a flag at him. I would almost argue that he has probably, I think him and Jeron Jones, from a tackling standpoint, are the two best, like, have the best tackling form.
Yeah.
Of the class. They are elite when it comes to it. But one thing that I love about Gavin Day is that he will literally, like, he has the ability to just end souls on every play, but he's so cerebral that he'll actually pull up and change his strike zone, and he'll hit legally but violently. And
love to hear that.
I think that is something that you want to see in the Big Ten, and definitely in that Washington Husky secondary.
Look, 6'3", 6'4", whatever you want to call them. I love seeing that height. It's been a while since we've had like that big all around safety who's at that size. JoJo McIntosh. And even I would say Gavin Day is JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo didn't run like Gavin.
Yeah, exactly. He's not even in the same stratosphere as Gavin Day as a guy in coverage. So to wrap this up, do we have a comp for Gavin Day?
I'll give you like NFL comp that's like, this guy's really, really good.
I say.
Who?
Notre Dame.
Oh, Kyle Hamilton?
Yeah, I feel like that's the cop-out comp.
Oh, I think Gavin Day hits harder than Kyle Hamilton. Ooh. I actually think Derwin James.
Oh, gosh. I mean, like, full intangibles, that is, like, unbelievably elite athleticism, but I get where you're headed with that. Like, can do everything.
But I'm telling you, man, I really believe, I'm telling you, do not let, this is a Big Ten, like, threat. Do not let Gavin Day get to 205.
Yeah. Like first team All-American for 2 years type of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of see that.
I mean, he's going to be one of those players that's so good after like going into his sophomore year. You'll see flashes of the freshman his sophomore year. He'll start getting the Brinks trucks, man, backing up.
God, I'm so excited about this class. Just anything overall that you guys want to wrap this up with? I think, man, it's really hard to have hindsight now and know that you had a class that included Puka Nacua, name whoever else. I mean, that class
that 19 class.
Yeah, I know it's hard to compare against that because Trent McDuffie, I mean, you have top 5 guys at their positions and multiple of them in the same recruiting class. But top to bottom, these 25 kids, to me, depth, hot top end, your projects make sense. In terms of projects, I use that term loosely, to developmental guys. I feel very strongly about. This is my favorite class in UW history. And I'm not trying to do my best to not be jaded by the rankings, and this is the highest rated class, but this is my favorite class that we've ever had. And I've been following recruiting since I was in 7th grade. I fell in love with Anthony Boyles, if you guys remember that name from way back in the day. I think he was a 4-star recruit in like 2005. So it's been a long time, 20 years or whatever it's been. Anything else you guys want to wrap this thing up with? I'm so pumped at every position.
No, the only thing I'll say is it really looks like, as beautiful of a class that Jed has put together in 26, it looks like 27.
It couldn't be better, even potentially. Yeah, I know.
It's pretty.
It's gonna be hard to top.
I'll just say it again. You allow the University of Washington to be in those top 4, top 5 in the Big Ten year in, year out. Dude, we will start making a lot of noise in the national level.
Don't let Jed fish. Maddie, anything else you want to wrap it up with?
Yeah, I would say it is. I would argue it's the most complete class that UW has had in terms of from top to bottom talent. Like, I don't see anybody on this roster or in this recruiting class that I'm like, I don't know if they're a take, etc. I think each player has a different role, but I'll just say it this way: this is a Big Ten signing class.
Yeah.
This is a class that is specifically targeted to compete in the Big Ten for the future.
Yeah, and I love that point, and I'll just add to that and say that they're very particular, Doherty, very particular in the types of bodies, the types of athletes that they're looking for at these positions. You have guys who are specialized, your JD Hills, who are, like you said, your Voitanufis, Matt, of the class. Like, those things are very just well thought out from top to bottom in terms of the body types and the athletes that they brought in. So with that, you guys, let's wrap this thing up. Maddie, love having you, and let's continue to do this over the summer and into the off season, and let's go, baby. Let's wrap this season up with a win. We'll come out. You guys will see the preview to Boise State coming out tomorrow, along with the review of the Oregon game, and we'll get things moving here. I'm pumped. Go Dogs, guys. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Let's go.